All right, welcome to There's Always a Song. My name is Brent Buchanan, and as the title says, there's always a song, and we'll have a song a little later on in the show. My guest, we always have a guest on the show as well, and my guest for this episode of There's Always a Song is Amelia Underhill. How you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
We haven't met before, but it's a pleasure to meet you.
Yes, likewise.
I was hoping to run into you last weekend or the weekend before?
It was 2 weekends ago.
2 weekends ago over in Cavendish. We're going to get to that a little later on where you played at Cavendish, but we didn't cross paths. Busy spot over there.
Oh, it was wild.
Yeah. First time?
Not my first time attending, but it was my first time performing.
Right. You play guitar, obviously, and any other instruments?
I tried to learn how to play the harmonica a little bit, but that kind of fizzled out. I didn't stick with it.
No?
Learned a few songs, but that was it. Pretty much just the guitar.
Okay. And did you take lessons or self-taught?
I was basically self-taught. My great aunt Wendy showed me a few chords, and I only went to her twice. And she showed me, the first time I went to her, she showed me G, C, and D. The second time she showed me A and E, and that was it.
And that was it.
And I was self-taught after that.
And so at the age of 13 is when you started singing and performing, and then at the age of 14 you started writing your own songs.
Yes.
Can you remember the first song that you ever wrote?
I do. It's called The Country Raised Me Right.
Really? I love the title.
Thanks. That's a cute little song.
That is a great title of a song.
Thanks.
Do you classify yourself as true blue country?
Yeah, I do. If I had to lean in another direction, I would say I like country rock a little bit too.
Yeah.
Like some of my songs when I'm working on them in the studio, I like a lot of electric guitar and stuff like that too.
Yeah.
But mostly true country.
Now the song that the second single that you have out.
Yes.
The second single is it currently out right now?
Yes.
And it's called Old Black Truck.
Old Black Truck, yeah.
You currently writing songs and building up a catalog?
Yeah, I always have one on the go usually. But sometimes it takes me 6 months to finish one song.
Really?
And then other times I can write a song in 15 minutes.
Okay.
So it just depends.
Do you ever co-write?
I just kind of get into co-writing a little bit this spring. But me and the other girl, our schedules just didn't line up very well. We're actually still not done, the song.
Okay.
But I kind of started getting into it a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you been to Nashville?
Yes, I've been twice.
Oh.
On vacation, though, not as a singer, but
Yeah.
someday.
For folks that have never been to Nashville, what's the hot spot? What's the best spot to go?
My favorite bar there is the Tin Roof.
The Tin Roof.
I love it. I sang there the first time I was there.
Did you really?
Yeah, I wasn't even legal. I don't know if you can put that in the show.
You can now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I was only 18 or 19 and I had my cousin's ID and I went and my aunt went up to the band and they do not let you do this. They're getting paid big money to play there.
Yeah. Is this on Broadway? The
This
main
is on
drag?
Broadway, yeah. And it was packed. And she said, I will give you $50 if you let her sing. And he did.
Really?
And I got up and sang Suds in the Bucket
Okay.
with the band. And it was wild.
I bet.
I got the fever for it then. I was like, this is what I have to do.
Did you go to Tootsie's?
Yes, we did. Yeah.
That's one of my favorite spots.
Yeah, I liked it.
I think this is back when I was drinking. I don't drink anymore, but my wife and I went to Nashville, and she dropped me off at Tootsie's, and I think I've seen her once on the weekend, and then she picked me up on the way to the airport.
Oh my God. Well, it'd be easy to do. Oh man.
But now there's so many bars down there that everyone owns a bar. Luke Bryan's got one.
know.
Eric Church has one. Garth Brooks has one. I think Miranda's got her own bar.
I love Miranda Lambert's bar.
You've been?
I've been, yeah. The last time we were there was 2 years ago. It had just opened, and it's beautiful. I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Been to the Opry, the Ryman.
Yes, both.
Yeah.
Both times I went to the Ryman and the Opry.
Yeah. And who'd you see at the Grand Ole Opry? Who was on the show?
The last time we were there, it was Shenandoah.
Oh yeah.
And I love them. Two Dozen Roses is my all-time favorite song ever.
Next to You, Next to Me is a good one.
I love that one too.
Yeah.
Church on Cumberland Road. I just heard one by them that I never heard before called The Moon Over Georgia.
Oh, I never heard that one.
Oh my God, I'm obsessed with it.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. And they're still out there plugging away.
Yes, and they sounded awesome.
Yeah. Everyone sounds awesome on the Opry stage.
Yes, that's true.
Now we're recording this episode in mid-July. Hot out there.
Humid.
Whew. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's going to be like 41-degree humidity tomorrow.
I know.
And I want to bring this up. Ingrid Andress, who's been nominated for 2 or 3 or 4 Grammys, she was on the the home run derby for the Major League Baseball, and she did the national anthem.
Okay.
And she did terrible.
Oh dear.
So have you? Yeah, and it's all over the internet, all over Facebook and Instagram, and I feel sorry for her. I feel bad for her. Have you ever done the national anthem?
I have not at anything huge.
Right.
Just local hockey games.
Well, that's big.
Yeah, I guess.
Reba McEntire started out doing national anthems at rodeos
Wow.
in Oklahoma.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. So Cavendish Beach Music Festival. Now, before the Cavendish Beach Music Festival, you were in Halifax for a Cavendish Beach Music Festival showcase.
Yes, I was.
And that was during Juno Week, when the Junos were there.
Yep.
So a lot of musicians and agents and promoters and managers, all these people were there.
Yeah.
What was that like? Nerve-wracking?
It was very nerve-wracking.
I bet.
I was thinking the whole time, I was like, this could make or break my reputation around here. Like, it really could.
Where did you play? Did you play in a bar? Did you play in a theater type thing?
It was like a restaurant bar. It was the Gahan House.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was really nice in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And did you see anybody over there? I think the James Barker Band walked away with a Juno that weekend.
I actually only saw the other people that were playing at the same venue that I was, but Nate Holler, he played, and he was unreal. He was so good. Riley Taylor had played. There was a few more. I can't think of their names right off right now, but yeah, they were all awesome though.
Yeah.
I was glad that I went on first, so none of them were there to see my show because I was so nervous.
Well, yeah. Do you still get were you nervous at Cavendish when you were taking the stage in Cavendish? It's more of a laid back type venue.
I was really nervous the morning of.
Really?
I literally I vomited and everything because my stomach was so sick. I had butterflies in my stomach, and then it was like the second I hit the stage, it was like gone.
Yeah.
I don't even know what came over me, but I just knew what to do.
I find nerves is a really good motivator.
Yeah.
You know, like you get nervous, but it's a good kind of nervous. You know?
It's like the pressure's on.
Yeah.
Sometimes if you're too nervous, though, you can hear it in your voice, like fluttering, and that's not good.
And so you probably got to Cavendish early, checked out the venue.
Yeah.
You were at the RBCX Music Emerging Artist stage.
Yes,
and you did two shows. You did a songwriter circle, and you did your own show.
Yes.
And that was on a Saturday, right?
Yeah. The Songwriter Circle was at around 5 p.m. and then I played at 8:30.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what was the Songwriter Circle like?
It was like amazing. Like I was just like dumbfounded that I got to share the stage with so many other talented people.
Yeah.
I was like, how am I sitting up here with these people right now?
Chris Benoit do that one with you?
I think so. Yeah.
From Newfoundland?
Yes.
Yeah.
I think he was the host.
Yeah, he was a great guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. A lot of fun doing a songwriting, and then that way you can tell your stories of how you wrote the song, and the crowd loves a songwriter circle as well.
I love a Songwriter Circle too.
Yeah.
I find it motivates me to write new songs.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then you take the stage for your own show. Do you have a band with you?
I did have a band. I played with Route 225, and my producer actually set them up with me. I didn't know I needed a band.
Yeah.
And I was in the studio like 2 weeks before Cavendish, and my producer asked me, he's like, so who'd you get for a band? And I was like, oh, I don't have a band. And he was like, you're going to Cavendish, like you need a band. And I was like, well, I didn't know, they told me I didn't need one. I asked and they said no.
Is this Jason?
Jason, yeah, Jason Berry. And he was like, I'll help you out. And I was like, okay, thanks. So he actually got in contact, and the guitar player in the band, his name's Roland Bulio.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
And both my parents actually went to high school with him, and and Jason did as well. And they were all really good friends in high school. Mm-hmm. And my parents hadn't seen him since high school. So it was like, we were just like, what a small world.
Yeah.
That's who ended up being like the main guy in the band.
And Jason, who is the producer, plays a lot of guitar and a lot of and records and everything, and he does a lot with Dean Brody.
Yes, he does.
And he's being inducted this year into the New Brunswick Country Music Hall of Fame.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
And he's got quite the resume, quite the bio.
Yeah.
Man.
There's nobody like him.
No. And he's got a studio fairly close to Blackville, Miramichi area.
Yeah, it's in the area. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So he got you a band. Now there's people over there, like there was people on the kitchen stage, the stage that I emceed at the Cavendish Beach Music Festival that didn't have a band. So there was the singer, the performer, and the guitar player. But you came with a whole band.
Yeah, it wasn't like necessary, but It definitely helped me out. It brought a whole different vibe to the tent compared to like an acoustic set would have. So I was really thankful afterwards. I was like, oh yeah, this was the right call.
For folks that are tuning in, as aspiring artists and musicians and songwriters, how did you do it? How did you get on that stage?
Honestly, it was just, I don't even know 100%. Like, when they reached out to me in March to play during Juno Week, the lady who had reached out to me, she seen me play 2 years ago at the Rod for this Atlantic Summit. I don't remember exactly what it was called.
Yeah.
And I don't even the guy that got me that gig, he was just like, hey, they're looking for artists, like pretty good paying gig, you should go. It's only like a half an hour set. And I was like, sure, whatever. I didn't even know what it was for.
Yeah.
When I went in, they're all dressed up in business outfits. And I just thought that it must be some big business meeting and they just wanted some entertainment throughout the day. I didn't know.
Really?
And she, apparently what Atlantic Summit is like they're people that they do this. Like they scout for like entertainment stuff.
Yeah.
And so anyway, she reached out to me. She's like, hey, I saw you 2 years ago play at the Rod. Would you be interested? Like, I work with Whitecap Entertainment. And she's like, we work with Cavendish. And I was like, yes. Like, as soon as I saw Cavendish, I was like, yes.
Yes.
And then that was just to go play in Halifax. And I still didn't think I'd be going to Cavendish.
Right.
I just thought, well, this is like one step. Maybe next year they'll invite me to play. And anyway, it was only like a month later and they reached out again and were like, do you want to play on the emerging artist stage? And I was like, yes. I almost fainted. Like,
Oh, that's awesome.
yeah, it was exciting.
That is awesome. It's exciting, but that just proves that you never know where or when something like that's going to happen.
Exactly.
And every show's important.
It is. You got to take every little gig you can get because you don't know who's there that's listening.
And it doesn't matter if there's 3 people in the crowd or there's 300 in the crowd.
Exactly.
Or 3,000 in the crowd. You got to play for like you're hitting a home run.
Yeah, exactly.
Tough. Oh man. So songwriting. Let's go back to songwriting because we're going to hear a song from you once we get closer to the end of the show. It seems like I've listened to a few of your songs, and it seems that you really take your songwriting like life experiences and people that you know and people that you've run into in the past that are integrated into your songs.
Yeah, that is. I don't really have come up with a list of topics or anything when I'm writing a song. Usually it is like a life experience will happen to me, and I'm like, oh, I could write a song about that, and that's kind of how it starts. Did
you study anyone that is well known for writing songs, or did you just
No,
just come natural?
It just kind of came natural, honestly. I have people that I'm influenced by. Like I love Miranda Lambert.
Yeah. You look like a Miranda Lambert a little bit.
Thank you so much.
You do.
Not that I try, but thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. And she's super talented.
Yeah, she is.
Yeah.
I love her.
Yeah.
And so I kind of like her vibe. I like her older stuff though. She did just come out with a new song called Damn It Randy, and I'm obsessed with it though.
Damn It Randy?
Yeah.
Really?
It's really good. It sounds a lot like her older stuff, I find.
And I like the older stuff too because she was on one of these talent shows. Wasn't she on Nashville Star?
I think so.
I think she was in season 1 or season 2 of Nashville Star, and I don't even think she won. I think she was like 2nd or 3rd place, I think. Do you watch these music themed reality shows?
Not usually.
American Idol or The Voice or anything like that?
Not usually, honestly.
No?
I find a lot of those shows, honestly, they are not interested in artist type people, like songwriters, they want a singer.
Or the look.
Or the look, yeah. Not anybody, but lots of people can sing and sing really well. I know there's probably 1 million people in the world that can sing better than me, but not everybody can write songs and write songs from the heart that people will relate to. And that's what I like about it.
Yeah.
And so I find those shows, they don't seem to care. It's usually the best singer that wins, not the person with the most talent, I guess, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it makes sense. Yeah. Now you've done a song just recently. You were probably at Jason's studio.
Yeah,
doing
just a few weeks ago.
Doing a song a few weeks ago. with a guest that I had on this show. I think it was episode 2 or episode 3. Riley Taylor.
Yes.
How did you and Riley Taylor get together and do a song?
Well, honestly, I had the song written since 2018. I wrote it. It's called Whiskey Talkin'. And I was in the studio with Jason, and I brought it up, and I was like, I would love to do this song. And he's like, well, he said, here's the thing. To find the male singer, he said, a not famous person and a famous person cannot do a song together. So you have to find someone that's around the same level that you are. So I was like, okay. So I didn't really know of anybody. And a few years later, COVID happened, and Riley was posting all these like cover songs that he was doing on Facebook.
In his garage, probably.
In his garage, yeah.
Yes, exactly.
And I seen it, and the first one I seen, I remember, I think he was singing, I can't think of the song now, but anyway, and I was like, that's it. Like, that's the guy I want. And I creeped him on Facebook. I sound so creepy right now. And I had a few mutual friends with him, so I was like, well, he's from around here. And anyway, yeah, like, I just always knew in my head, and I told Jason, I was like, there's this guy named Riley Taylor, and that's who I want to sing on my song. No, he didn't at the time. And then Riley went to Boots and Hearts and won. Yeah. And I started panicking because I said, he's going to get too famous. He's not going to be able to do my song. So I reached out to him like almost 2 years ago now, and I told him, I was like, hey, like, because I had him on Facebook and stuff, and I was like, I have a duet. Like, you're the only person that I have wanted to sing on it with me. And he was like, hell yeah, like, let's do it. And I was like, awesome. So anyway, yeah, then it was a long time coming. I did the music for it almost a year ago, actually. It was in July last year. And we just got his part, like my part was recorded since this winter. Right. And then we just got his vocals recorded a few weeks ago.
Cool.
Yeah.
And what's going to happen with this song? Is it going on your on an album, or is it out there streaming yet? Or?
It's not out yet. I don't actually have a release date, but it's almost done. It's so close to being done. So I'm hoping by the fall, like September, October, it'll be released. Yeah. And yeah, and I might put it on an album. I'm hoping to do an album someday. Yeah. So if I do, it'll be on there.
And if you do an album, do you have enough material to put on an album, or would you do a cover tune here and there on the album? Or?
I definitely do have enough material now. Yeah. It's just the time to get it
and
in.
It's probably a little bit of...
It is expensive. Yes. Yeah, it's not cheap.
Musicians, producer, and studio time, it adds up.
It does.
It does. You're going to do a song for us.
Yes.
And as I mentioned before, your songs seem to always relate to someone or something. Yep. And the song you're going to do for us, because the name of the show is There's Always a Song. The name of the song is...
It's His Boots.
His Boots. And whose boots are we talking about?
We're talking about my dad's.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
And what did your dad do for a living? Or does he still work?
Yeah, so my dad's an iron worker.
An iron worker. That's probably hard work.
It's dangerous.
Yeah.
Yeah, and when I was growing up, he was always working away. He always worked in St. John. He would go out west. He'd go to Newfoundland. He was home as much as he could be, and so basically, he always had his work boots on because he'd just get home and we'd want him to go outside and play, or we'd want him to do this. And so he just, that's what it's about, I guess. Okay. Like how hard of a worker he was and still is.
And what's your favorite song that you've ever written? Do you have a favorite?
I do. It's called The Ballad of a Small Town.
Okay.
And I wrote it about my hometown.
Blackville?
Blackville, yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Well, it's kind of written, I want my songs, I don't want to just say it's about Blackville, because I want my songs to be able to relate to anybody. So anybody who lives in a small town, I hope would relate to it. Right. But yeah, that was kind of the thing that made me write it, was about my town.
Nice. Yeah. Nice. I got to listen to more of your stuff, because I like that sort of stuff. Dean Brody's a lot like that, because every song that Dean Brody ever records and ever releases, Canadian Girl or Dirt or anything that he releases, it always seems to, I can relate to that song. And I like songs that you can relate to, for sure.
I do too, and I love songs that tell a story. Yeah. And that's what I want all my songs to be.
And that's what country music is all about.
Exactly.
Yeah. I was going to ask you what you got planned for this summer. Now, like I said, we're recording this in July, middle of July. I'm going to go to a festival, I think, this coming weekend, the Fundy Fest, which is in Sussex.
Okay.
My friend Julian Austin's going to be headlining, so it's going to be fun. And Rick Reese is going to be there, and I think Jason Benoit is going to be there. Tim Hicks is going to be there. So
wow,
I know,
awesome lineup.
I think it's only its second year.
Okay.
So Fundy Fest is growing. So you got any festivals or any upcoming gigs that?
I don't have a whole lot planned for the summer, just little gigs here and there, like at local bars and things. Cavendish was my big thing this summer.
Where do you normally play when you're up at home in Blackfield? Is there a place in Miramichi City that you normally play?
Yeah, there's a little bar called Apero.
Oh, what is it?
Apero.
Apero.
Yep, or Apero, some people pronounce it, but I say Apero.
Yeah.
And it's just the cutest little bar, and it's my favorite place to play, and all my friends will come watch, my family, and
nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I also play at Riverside Entertainment Center. That's like our casino there. Yeah, I play there. And then I actually just recently played at a campground this past weekend. Just little things like that.
Get out there and get people to see you and hear you.
Exactly.
That's the whole thing. That's the whole. We're going to let the folks hear you at home. We're going to get you set up. Get the guitar on, and Amelia Underhill is with us, and coming up in just moments, a song called His Boots. Hey everyone, welcome back to There's Always a Song. My name is Brent Buchanan, and as always a song on this show. And Amelia Underhill is my guest on this show, and the song that Amelia is going to do for us right now is called His Boots.
His boots have walked 1,000 times through that front door and made us smile as we came running, arms open wide, calling out his name. Well, they stepped on spiders and trucked through mud, and even when he was tired, he'd lace them up and make his way on outside with us to play. Here's a working hard to give us all we had. His only uniform were steel toes and a hard hat. Calloused hands and a tin lunch can, carved steel beams, that was my old man. He never wore a suit to work. It was long johns, jeans, and a flannel shirt. He's got scars that were cut so deep, but he's the toughest man that I ever seen. He even wore those muddy things to church. He didn't dig it out of the ground, that's just his roots. He wore work boots. 4 a.m. would come and he'd be gone for another work week down in St. John. But he called home every night, like all good daddies do. And when the weekend come, we'd be up in Canes. That log can't be built is his favorite place. Cut down every tree himself and hammered every nail and screw. Not every working man out there wears a tie. He wore those steel toes every day of his life. Calloused hands and a tin lunch can, carved steel beams, that was my old man. He never wore a suit to work. It was long johns, jeans, and a flannel shirt. He's got scars that were cut so
All right, Amelia Underhill and a song called His Boots about her dad. Thank you, Amelia, for coming in and being a guest on There's Always a Song. If you write your own material, we'd love to have you on the show. Just reach out to me on Facebook and we can chat and we can book a time to have you here as a guest. Thank you for tuning in, and tune in next episode to There's Always a Song.